this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this fun video, I'm going to show you how to do a double exposure effect in Photoshop. Probably the easiest way to do it. This is the easiest way that I found to do it. And so let's go and get started. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so real quickly before we get started, the double exposure effect is basically taking a portrait, or in this case a portrait, but basically taking a photo and then exposing it another time, whether digitally like this or manually with your camera, exposing it another time to where another image lays on top of it and bringing out different kinds of features. So that's basically in a nutshell what that is. And so in this particular photo, I have a portrait of a girl who looks like she's like in a cold environment, and what I'm going to do is have a double exposure of her with mountains and cold stuff in the background, kind of blending in with her facial features. So it kind of makes like a cool artistic representation of what is going on with her. And so there's two things that you need to get here. You need to get, in this case, a portrait, if you want to follow along with me, and another photo to put in context with it. That's why I didn't choose like a beach scene or something like that, because it just wouldn't match. So, you know, I wanted to choose something that is in context with what is going on with this portrait. So I chose the mountains. And so let's go and get started. I'll show you how to, first of all, take her, remove her from the background, do the double exposure effect, and then kind of finesse it a little bit more. Okay, so we got the portrait of the girl here. And so what we need to do, first of all, is remove her from the white background. This is much better if you have a white background in your photo. If you just have the portrait, it can be done if you have a portrait of somebody and you still have a background in the photo. It's just going to be a little more difficult. But in this particular image, I have to make a selection. You can use a bunch of selection types. You can use the magic wand, quick select, hue, saturation, adjustment layers. But for this particular video, I just went ahead and did a one before recording the video just to kind of help speed this up. So as you can see, I just saved a selection here, and that is my selection. And what I'm going to do is just copy and paste that. So I'm going to hit Command or Control C and then Command or Control V. And now if I toggle this off, you can see that we just have her on the background. Now I'm going to make another brand new layer here. I'm going to click down here for the new layer button, and I'm going to fill it with white. So I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and then just click white, and then I'm just going to toggle off the eyeball on the background layer, so that will be saved down there just in case I mess up and I need to go back again. All right, so now you can see on my photo I have a little bit of a harsh edge here just because of the selection. So for this particular photo, you might not have to do it with yours, but I'm just going to create a layer mask here and get a black brush that it's a soft brush, hardness down to 0, and I'm just going to lightly go over the edges. Just like this, just kind of smooth them out. I could have done this in the selection, but I'm just going to do it manually really quick, like just so that it blends in with the white background a little bit. It helps sells the effect a little more. All right, so now I need to get my mountain layer. So I'm just going to click over here, and I'm just going to drag this into the new document. And you can see I need to resize it a little bit more. I don't have to worry about getting it perfect right now because we can always move it around again the layer. So I'm just going to do this right around there. All right, now I need to go ahead and make a layer mask based off of the face. So I'm just going to make this the original size here. I'm going to click my facial, my portrait photo. I'm going to hit Command or Control on this and click on the face feature here, and you can see that is the outline that we have of the face. So now I'm going to go back up to the mountain layer and click the layer mask button, and that is going to just give a real quick layer mask over the outline of the person. So now I need to make another duplicate layer. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to make a duplicate layer of that one, move it to the top. So now I just see her, and now I'm going to desaturate this layer. So I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, Desaturate, right there, and then I'm going to change the blending mode to Multiply. So as you can see the outline of the mountains in the background. I don't like the way it looks just over her face, just the way the foreground here lies. So now I can just unclick this chain here on the mountains, click on the mountain, click Command or Control T to transform, and now I can move it around, and I'm going to get the mountain just right, maybe right over her eye there. And I can scale it up a little more just to make it a little better. So right there, click Enter, and now you can see it's kind of the ridge of the mountain falls right there. So now I need to take this desaturated layer, and I need to go ahead and get a black brush and paint away some of the facial features of her hair, like from their face, like the hair here and a little bit of the top. So it's just a really soft brush, painting over like that, just blending in some of that stuff. So I'm going to do the same thing on the sides. So kind of like that. You can go a little more crazy if you want to. And don't worry, if you mess this up, you can always switch over to white and paint that back in just like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of play around with what I want it to look like. Okay, so there we go. It looks pretty good. The one thing I'm going to do, just like I did with the face, the portrait outline, I smoothed it out. You can see we have a little bit of smoothing that needs to be done right there. So I'm going to click on the layer mask, change my brush to black, make sure it's black, and then kind of do the same thing. Just lightly go over the edges here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just doing it very lightly just to make it blend in a little more. And I am going to change this to desaturate as well. I didn't think I would need to, but you can see we got a little bit of purple blending in here, and I want to go ahead and desaturate that one. So I'm going to desaturate this layer just to make sure that everything looks good. Image, adjustments, desaturate right there. All right, so now one of our last steps we need to do is take the mountain layer, make a duplicate of that layer, drag it to the top, and then remove the layer mask. So I'm just going to right click on the layer mask and hit delete, and keep it in the same spot if you can. If you want to move it around just a little bit, that's fine, but keep it in the same spot. We're going to go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and blur it a little bit. Don't have to go crazy with it, but if we don't like it the way it is in our outcome here, we can go ahead and go back. But just click OK. Make another layer mask with that layer and change my brush, make sure it's black, and then paint over where the face was. So I'm just going to lightly paint over. It doesn't matter if you see white coming in around the face. Doesn't matter whatsoever, just kind of making a little effect here. So right there looks pretty good. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. All right, so now all we got to do is just lower the opacity of this, and what this does is kind of give a little bit of less jarring effect between the mountains and the face. Barely visible. I'm going to change mine to probably around 30. So you can kind of see it back there, but still kind of not. And there we go. It just blends in with the white, so it's just not white in the background. So that is our double exposure. If we want to move it around, we can click on here again and just kind of play with it. You can see we move it around all over the place. We can make it look like that, make the mountains a little bit lesser, but still be there. Just, have fun with it. So that is our double exposure. That's the easiest way, the fastest way to do it. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Play around with your photos. Post them on the Sleeklens members Facebook group if you want to, if you tried this technique. So thank you for joining me in this video. This is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I'll see you in the next video.